Okay, then we will move to item 7, which is new business. Did you want to bring forward the specific policy, Mary, or no? Okay. We'll move to new business. Consideration or action on the following. Item A, request by UW La Crosse graduate students for a project. Don't sit, get fit.
Good evening. My name is Whitney Genevico, and this is Katie Weiss and Ashley Ash. And we are proposing a program, a physical activity program, to carry out with the 6th graders at the middle school. And we're just looking for your approval on this. And what we're just like to do a quick overview. We know you guys got the documents ahead of time, and then just open it up for any questions you guys may have. And Katie will start with a little background on why we chose this topic, and then Ashley will introduce the project form.
Hi there. A quick background, our health and wellness class has us focus on an objective put forward by the Healthy People 2020 movement. And one of their guidelines is to have children participate in at least 60 minutes of aerobic physical activity most days of the week. And the research is showing that many children aren't meeting these recommendations, and they're also decreasing their activity levels once they hit adolescence and get older. And these decreased activity levels can have very negative impacts on not only their health in childhood, but as they grow into adults. We have a few statistics. Obesity rates in America have been tripling over the past 20 years, and Wisconsin ranks 16th in the U.S. in obesity rates. For Wisconsin children in the schools, 28% of children are overweight or obese, and in Monroe County, a very similar percentage, the overweight prevalence in children is 27%. So these low activity levels can be increasing the overweight and obesity in children, which can lead to the onset of adult diseases such as diabetes, asthma, sleep apnea at a younger age. And it's been shown that these children may even have shorter life expectancies than their parents. So this is a very current and pressing issue, and we're hoping to increase physical activity through school and community programs to promote behavior change and have them carry these behaviors into adulthood.
So giving some of those concerning statistics that Katie just discussed, the goal of our program is essentially to increase physical activity levels in the 6th graders at Tomah School, and to increase those levels so that they do meet current recommendations of at least 1 hour most days of the week. So to do this, we've designed a competition between students Team 1 and Team 2 in the 6th grade, and students will record the amount of time that they spend engaged in physical activity outside of school, and they'll also receive incentives for participating with other friends or family members, or also for participating in after-school programs. These after-school programs are optional, but the goal is to give students ideas of other types of activities that they might enjoy, with the hope that they carry that on in the future. And our goal is for each student to be active 7 to 9 hours per week. And again, our main objective is to increase physical activity levels and decrease sedentary time, so time spent watching television or playing video games.
In a big way that we're going to focus on like an outcome to see if their behavior is changing, and we know that it's a short time. It's only going to be like a 5-week program, so we're only going to be able to see short-term outcomes and not the long-term and the maintenance type of things that we want to see throughout their lifestyle. But we're focusing on a physical activity survey. What we did was we compiled a group of 16 questions focusing mainly on their physical activity level currently, like what they do outside and in school, as well as their knowledge of the types of physical activity they can do and how much they actually need on a daily basis, and then their sedentary lifestyle. So we took this from what's called a youth behavior risk survey that the government uses in order to track physical activity in not only children but also youth. And this behavior survey looked at not only physical activity but also risky behaviors such as sexual behaviors and alcohol and drugs. So what we did was we took all that information out of it and just focused mainly or just on the physical inactivity questions. We're not looking to use any of their names in any of our data, or when at the end of the project we have to do like a portfolio. So we don't want any of their personal information. All we need is in order to look at trends to see what they are right now and then how it changes after like the 5 weeks of the program. So we'd just like to thank you guys for your time and open it up for any questions you may have for us.
Mrs. Geneva Cole. Is this strictly voluntary? I mean, not every sixth grader may or may not participate.
Yeah, what we want to do is kind of two different things. We would like to have every kid do what we created was a physical activity log. And this was, I don't know if you guys saw this, but what it is a 5-week log, and they can write down their activities that they do on a daily basis, who they do it with, if they do it with their parents or a peer. And then so they'd be doing that each day, so Monday through Sunday, and then we'd collect that every Friday in order to start putting our data together. And then what we're also going to offer is an after-school program on Tuesday evenings, right after school from 3:30 to 5. And this is where we'd introduce different activities. We thought like Zumba for kids, spinning, flag football and maybe get some of the football players from the high school that aren't involved in a sport and have them come down and play with the kids and get them just so that they have like a mentor or look up to somebody that's already doing it, and it might help to increase their physical activity levels. So we're kind of taking two different approaches. The after school is completely volunteer.
G, looking at your PAR-Q, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to just, looking at your PAR-Q, for a sixth grader, do you feel that, how are you defining this, or how will this be introduced? I'm looking at some of the questions and not sure that my sixth grader would understand them. Like when you say, looking at question 1, has your doctor ever said that you have a heart condition or that you should only do physical activity recommended by a doctor? How is that being explained to a sixth grader so they properly understand what you're asking? I mean, I know what you're asking, but will
Right.
they?
This would actually go to the parents, and the parents would have to fill it out. But after we talked to our professor at the university, and then we sat down with Steve Buss and Tim Genevico and went over this stuff, they said that the possibility would be that if we had a faculty member at the school while we're doing this, that their medical records are already there. So we won't have to get any more, like we won't have to use the PAR-Q then in that instance, as long as we have a faculty member that can get to their medical records if something happens and we need to contact their guardian or parent for emergency situations. And we can reword things too if you'd like us to use.
No, not so much. Just trying to get my mind around how the student would be
I think
briefed.
that we have a parent letter that'll be sent out to all the parents, and that can be sent with it to kind of go over. Either the parent can fill it out or the kid. But initially we included that because we need to be covered and know what's going on if anyone does have any sort of health condition. But if we do have a school employee there, they're aware of health problems and health conditions through the school, so we wouldn't even have to worry about it.
Ladies, why Tomah?
Well, a lot of schools in La Crosse are being asked to do this from other people in our program, so we thought it would be nice to get outside of Tomah. And I actually live in Tomah. So.
Okay. Are there other schools in the area involved in this besides La Crosse?
I don't think there's anybody like going out to Sparta or like Brookwood or Royal either.
So who does the teaching? You three?
Yeah.
Yep.
Any cost involved?
Not to you. It's all covered through our program.
I mean, by the looks of some of our sixth graders, they could use the exercise.
Oh, I can see where this is going. Go on.
It's very true, Jerry. So I'm all for it if this gets some good results, because a lot of our students don't have that kind of activity.
And Whitney mentioned our program is only 5 weeks, but if we do see good results, that could be sort of a platform to try and either continue it or form more of a community organization. Because if it's working, if you guys are impressed with it and if other people like it, then we're just laying the foundation for anything in the future. So
in coordinating this thing, Mr. Buss is involved with it?
Correct.
And you? Okay. I mean, the coordination of it is important, so.
And the only reason I even asked the question on the Park Q is because of what we saw earlier in the year with behavioral health questions. I want to make sure if we're going to ask a question that we're ready to answer it, rather than just leave a dangling question out there. So any yes to this is responded to by one of you?
Correct.
And you will, I mean, if a student's participating in this, they do have their parents' knowledge.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
the parents have to.
We have
And another reason we did this is because we can't go into this as physical therapists. We're physical therapy students, so we can't even go into it as physical therapy students. We're the health and promotion aspect, because that's our class. We're all certified in CPR and first aid, and I'm also an athletic trainer, so I could use those skills also if something did happen. But if something, an emergency does happen, or even like if it's not life-threatening, it's gonna go to the hospital. It's just something to cover for our liability in case a kid comes in and they have a heart condition and we don't know about it, and if there wasn't a faculty, we just needed that like security.
Absolutely.
In your parent letter, just to make sure you proofread it before you send it out, there's line 3 has a typo in it. Sure. I'm just afraid someone's going to make me try to keep up with Gary with his physical activity. I can't do that. Does this need a board action, or is this an information?
It does need board action.
Motion to approve the recommendation for youth physical activity for the 6th grade class under a 5-week pilot as proposed.
I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and second then to approve the request by the UW La Crosse grad students for the project Don't Sit, Get Fit.
Check.
Any further discussion?
You three with good guidance, huh? Take care of our kids.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Good luck with it all.
Thank you.